Alien mockery. In the vast expanse of space, the alien fleet approached Earth's solar system with ease. Their ships, sleek and modern, glided effortlessly through the stars. This armada belonged to the Silurian Empire, a race known for its advanced technology and arrogance. They had conquered many worlds and were confident that Earth would be an easy target. As they neared Earth, the Silurian fleet's sensors picked up signals from what seemed like ancient human warships. These ships were scattered across Earth's orbit, left there after a long-forgotten war. The aliens had heard rumors about these so-called relics, but they had never seen them up close. Intrigued and amused, the Silurian commanders decided to investigate. The first sight of the old warships made the aliens burst into laughter. To them, these ships looked like nothing more than rusty, outdated pieces of metal. Their designs were old-fashioned, and their technology seemed primitive compared to the sleek, powerful crafts of the Silurian fleet. They mocked the idea that these ancient vessels could pose any threat. Commander Zorak, leader of the Silurian fleet, scoffed at the sight of the human warships. "Look at these relics," he exclaimed to his officers. "Do they really think these outdated ships can stand against us? This will be a quick and easy victory." The alien fleet moved closer to the dormant warships, their sensors detecting faint energy readings from the old vessels. The Silurian officers laughed at the sight. They couldn't believe that these seemingly obsolete ships could have any significant technology left. To them, it was almost a joke. They had faced powerful enemies before, but never had they encountered something so clearly outmatched. Despite their mockery, the Silurian fleet decided to keep a close watch on the warships. They didn't want to make any mistakes, just in case there was something they had missed. The alien commanders ordered their ships to maintain a safe distance while they observed. They were eager to see how such old technology would fare against their advanced weaponry. As the Silurian ships hovered in orbit, they scanned the human warships with their most sophisticated equipment. The readings were odd but didn't seem alarming. The aliens continued to laugh, their confidence growing with each passing moment. They made jokes about the human fleet's supposed power, imagining what kind of easy victory awaited them. Unbeknownst to the Silurian fleet, their approach had triggered an old automatic system on Earth. The system was designed to protect humanity's last remaining assets, and it was about to awaken the warships from their long slumber. This system had been dormant for years, but the alien intrusion had set it in motion. The Silurian officers, oblivious to the impending activation, continued their mocking commentary. They anticipated that the encounter would be nothing more than a formality. Their minds were already set on the glory of a quick victory, eager to add another world to their empire without a challenge. In the control room of the Silurian flagship, the laughter and jokes filled the air. The commanders and their crew were convinced of their superiority. They couldn't imagine that these old warships, which had been discarded and forgotten, could ever pose a threat to their mighty fleet. As the alien fleet prepared to make their move, they remained unaware that their careless mockery would soon turn into surprise and awe. The dormant human warships, once thought to be relics of a bygone era, were about to awaken and reveal their hidden power. The stage was set for an unexpected confrontation. The aliens, so sure of their victory, were about to learn a valuable lesson about underestimating their opponents. The old human warships, ready to come back to life, would soon show the Silurian Empire that even ancient technology could be formidable. This initial encounter, marked by alien mockery and human silence, was just the beginning of a story that would challenge the Silurians' confidence and reveal the true strength of Earth's forgotten fleet. Earth's hidden treasure. Far from the alien fleet's mocking gaze, Earth's solar system held a hidden treasure, one that had been forgotten over time. In the dark, quiet expanse of space, the old human warships drifted silently, their once great power now lying dormant. But beneath their rusty exteriors, these ships were far from ordinary. Decades ago, these warships had been the pride of humanity's fleet. They were marvels of engineering, designed for intense battles, and equipped with cutting-edge technology of their time. After a series of fierce wars, however, humanity had changed course. The old warships were decommissioned and put into storage, their once great power now a relic of the past. As Earth's political landscape shifted, the old warships were left in the shadows. The memory of their glory days faded, and they became mere objects of nostalgia. People remembered them as symbols of a bygone era. Their significance diminished as new technologies emerged. But what many did not realize was that these ships still held great potential. Inside the hulls of these seemingly obsolete vessels were advanced systems and weaponry, hidden away and largely forgotten. The ships had been equipped with technology that was far ahead of its time, technology that could still rival the best of modern innovations. Their stealth systems, energy shields, and weaponry were old but well maintained, and they were about to be put to the test. The warship's activation system had been designed to respond to threats, but it had lain dormant for years. This system was programmed to protect Earth from potential dangers, and it was equipped with a series of fail-safes to ensure that the ships could be quickly reactivated if needed. The moment the Silurian fleet entered Earth's solar system, these fail-safes were triggered, causing the warships to slowly come back online. Deep within the ships, power systems roared to life. Control panels flickered with light, and the ship's dormant engines began to hum. The warships, once silent and still, started to awaken from their long sleep. It was a slow process, but the systems were coming back online, piece by piece. In the command center of one of the warships, lights flickered as the main systems powered up. The ship's onboard computer systems, which had been in standby mode for years, began to run diagnostics. The old systems were still functional, though they were somewhat outdated compared to the latest technology. However, they were more than capable of handling the task at hand. As the ships came to life, their defense systems began to scan for threats. The sensors, although old, were still effective. They detected the presence of the alien fleet and assessed the situation. The ship's onboard AI systems, programmed to react to intrusions, began preparing for potential combat. The human warships were now ready for action. Despite their appearance, they were equipped with weaponry and technology that the aliens had underestimated. The advanced tech hidden within the ships was about to make its presence known. The Silurian fleet had underestimated these relics, and they were about to discover just how formidable they could be. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the activation of the warships went unnoticed by most. People were unaware that their old defense systems were coming back to life. The ships, which had once been symbols of human strength, were now ready to protect their home from an unexpected threat. The hidden treasure of Earth's past was no longer a mere memory. It was about to reassert its significance on the galactic stage. The warships, with their advanced technology and battle readiness, were prepared to challenge the Silurian fleet and prove that even the oldest technology could hold its own. As the alien fleet continued its mockery, they remained oblivious to the fact that the old warships were no longer relics of the past. The stage was set for a surprising confrontation. The Silurian Empire, so sure of its victory, was about to face a powerful and unexpected opponent. The hidden treasure of Earth's forgotten fleet was about to reveal its true worth. The Awakening. As the Silurian fleet hovered above Earth, their ships radiated confidence. The aliens continued to mock the old human warships, believing them to be harmless relics. But on Earth, deep within the silent warships, something was stirring. The old warships had been dormant for years, their systems inactive and their engines cold. They had been stored in space docks, left to float quietly and forgotten. But the alien intrusion had triggered an old activation protocol designed to respond to potential threats. This protocol, though outdated, was about to bring the warships back to life. It began with a faint hum, barely perceptible at first. Deep inside the warships, power systems slowly activated. Lights flickered on control panels, and the ship's internal computers started running diagnostics. The process was slow but steady, as the ship's systems began to warm up after years of inactivity. In the command center of one warship, screens blinked to life. The old technology, though not as advanced as today's standards, was still functional. The ship's AI system, a relic from a bygone era, began to process the incoming data. It detected the presence of the alien fleet and began preparing for potential threats. The warship's defense systems came online, one by one. Sensors activated, scanning the area for any signs of danger. The ancient weaponry, once considered obsolete, was checked and readied for use. Despite their age, these systems were still effective and powerful. The warships were awakening with a renewed sense of purpose. In the control room, officers and crew members of the old fleet, although long gone, were represented by automated systems. These systems, programmed to protect Earth, began to follow the activation protocols. The ships were being readied for action, their once silent hulls now buzzing with activity. The Xylarian fleet, meanwhile, continued to monitor the situation from a distance. They saw the strange energy readings coming from the old warships and were puzzled. They had expected these ships to be powerless, not realizing that they were in the process of reactivating. As the warships continued to come online, their internal systems began to communicate with each other. The ships synchronized their functions, preparing for coordinated operations. The once dormant fleet was becoming a well-oiled machine, ready to face any challenge. The hum of the engines grew louder as the ships powered up. The old warships, once thought to be relics of the past, were now showing signs of life. Their systems were operational, their weaponry ready. The alien fleet, still unaware of the full extent of what was happening, continued their mockery. The first signs of the warship's awakening were subtle but significant. The alien fleet noticed that their sensors were picking up unusual energy fluctuations. They began to take these readings more seriously, though they still underestimated the potential threat. They prepared for a small confrontation, expecting it to be an easy fight. In the command centers of the human warships, the activation was almost complete. The ships were now ready to engage. Their systems, though old, were still effective and could handle the incoming battle. The once forgotten fleet was about to prove its worth. As the warships powered up, they sent out a signal, a clear indication that they were no longer dormant. The Xylarian fleet received this signal, and their amusement began to fade. They started to sense that these old ships were more than just relics. The realization was dawning on them that they might be facing a more formidable opponent than they had anticipated. The awakening of the human warships was now complete. The old technology was alive and well, ready to defend Earth against the alien threat. The Xylarian fleet's mockery had been premature. The once silent warships were prepared to show that even ancient technology could hold its ground. The stage was set for an unexpected confrontation. The alien fleet, so sure of their easy victory, was about to face the reality of Earth's hidden strength. The old warships, now fully awake, were ready to prove that they were anything but obsolete. First contact. The Xylarian fleet loomed large above Earth, their ships arranged in a precise formation. They had expected to deal with an easy target, their mockery of the old human warships still fresh in their minds. But below, in the silent depths of space, the dormant human fleet was now fully awake and preparing for action. As the human warships came online, their sensors detected the alien fleet's movements. The ship's advanced technology, though old, was still highly effective. The warships were ready to respond to any threat, and their onboard systems began coordinating for the upcoming confrontation. The alien fleet, having observed strange energy fluctuations, decided to investigate. They sent a few scout ships to get a closer look at the old warships. The scouts approached cautiously, their sensors scanning the human vessels for any sign of danger. The Xylarian commanders were still skeptical, convinced that the old ships posed little threat. The first contact came when the alien scouts moved into range of the human warships. The old ships, now fully operational, detected the approaching scouts and identified them as potential threats. Their defensive systems, although outdated, began to activate. The human warships aimed their sensors at the alien scouts, their systems quickly assessing the new arrivals. The alien ships were small compared to the human warships, but they were a clear indication that the Xylarian fleet was taking the situation seriously. The alien scouts, noticing the increased activity from the old warships, began to transmit data back to their fleet. They reported that the human vessels were indeed operational and preparing for combat. The Xylarian fleet's amusement began to wane, replaced by a growing sense of concern. The first exchange of signals between the two fleets was tense. The alien scouts, still unsure of the human warships' capabilities, attempted to establish communication. They sent a standard hail, expecting to receive a response that would confirm their assumptions about the old ships. To the Xylarian scouts' surprise, the human warships responded with a clear, authoritative message. The communication was brief but unmistakable. Earth was prepared to defend itself, and the Xylarian fleet was not welcome. The alien scouts were taken aback, their initial laughter turning into cautious attention. The Xylarian fleet, now fully aware that the old warships were operational, decided to take action. They prepared for a small skirmish, believing it would be a straightforward engagement. Their commanders were still confident but wary of the unexpected turn of events. The alien fleet launched a few probes to test the defenses of the human warships. These probes were equipped with non-lethal scanners and sensors, designed to gather more information without causing damage. The human warships detected the probes and responded with defensive maneuvers, showcasing their readiness for combat. The Xylarian fleet's confidence began to falter as they observed the human warships' reactions. The old vessels were maneuvering with surprising agility, and their defensive systems were more effective than anticipated. The alien fleet's commanders started to question their initial assessment of the situation. The first real confrontation occurred when the alien scouts made a probing attack. They fired a few test shots at the human warships, trying to gauge their response. The human warships, now fully prepared, activated their shields and countered with precision strikes. The exchange was brief but intense, with the human ships demonstrating their combat capabilities. The alien scouts quickly retreated, sending urgent reports back to their fleet. They had encountered more resistance than expected, and the Xylarian commanders realized that the old warships were not as helpless as they had believed. The initial mockery had turned into a serious evaluation of the threat posed by the human fleet. As the alien fleet regrouped, they began to prepare for a more serious engagement. The mockery of the old warships was replaced by a cautious respect. The Xylarian fleet now understood that they were dealing with a more formidable opponent than they had anticipated. The first contact had set the stage for a larger confrontation. The old human warships, once dismissed as relics, were proving to be a serious challenge. The Xylarian fleet, now fully aware of the potential danger, was preparing for the next phase of their encounter with Earth's hidden strength. Alien shock. The Xylarian fleet was taken aback by the surprising resistance from Earth's old warships. What they had initially thought to be a trivial encounter was quickly turning into a serious challenge. The alien commanders, who had been confident of an easy victory, were now facing an unexpected and formidable opponent. As the alien scouts reported back, the Xylarian fleet's mood shifted from amusement to alarm. The initial mockery had faded, replaced by a growing sense of unease. The reports described how the human warships had activated quickly and fought back with surprising strength. The scouts' findings were causing serious concern among the alien leaders. Commander Zorak, who had been at the forefront of the mocking, now sat in his command chair with a frown. His officers gathered around him, their faces reflecting the gravity of the situation. "It seems these old warships are more dangerous than we thought," Zorak admitted, his voice serious. "We need to reassess our strategy." The Xylarian fleet's confidence was replaced by a cautious approach. They had underestimated the old human warships, and now they needed to prepare for a more challenging fight. The alien commanders decided to deploy additional forces to better understand and counter the threat. As the alien fleet prepared for the next move, the human warships continued to demonstrate their capabilities. They conducted coordinated patrols and defensive maneuvers, showing that they were well organized and ready for any aggression. The old ships, though appearing rusty, were proving to be effective defenders of Earth. The Tylarian fleet deployed reconnaissance ships to gather more information. These ships, equipped with advanced sensors, moved closer to the human warships to observe their behavior. The aliens hoped to find a weakness or a flaw that they could exploit. The reconnaissance ships transmitted detailed reports back to the Tylarian command. The reports revealed that the human warships were using advanced tactics and technology that the aliens had not anticipated. The old ships' defensive systems were holding up well against the alien probes, and their counterattacks were precise and damaging. The shock among the Tylarian fleet grew as they realized the true extent of the human warships' power. The old technology, which they had dismissed as obsolete, was proving to be a serious threat. The aliens had to adjust their approach and prepare for a more intense engagement. The alien commanders held an emergency meeting to discuss their next steps. They reviewed the latest data and considered different strategies to overcome the unexpected challenge. The meeting was tense, with officers exchanging worried glances. The once confident attitude of the fleet had been replaced by a sense of urgency. Commander Zorak, determined to turn the situation around, ordered the deployment of additional firepower. The Tylarian fleet prepared for a more aggressive assault, hoping to overwhelm the human warships with sheer force. They also increased their electronic warfare efforts, aiming to disrupt the old ship's communications and sensors. As the Tylarian fleet moved into position for a larger attack, the human warships continued their preparations. They were ready for the increased aggression, their systems fully online and their crews focused. The old warships were proving that they were not just relics but a significant force to be reckoned with. The tension in the space above Earth was palpable. The alien fleet, once certain of an easy victory, was now engaged in a serious battle with the old human warships. The shock of the unexpected resistance had transformed the conflict from a minor skirmish into a full-scale confrontation. The old warships, with their hidden technology and advanced systems, were showing that they were more than capable of defending Earth. The Tylarian fleet, now aware of the true threat, was preparing for a fight that would test their skills and strategies. As the battle lines were drawn, and the next phase of the conflict began, both sides knew that the outcome was uncertain. The alien shock had set the stage for a dramatic and intense clash, with the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. The old human warships, awakened and ready, were about to prove their worth in a fight that would challenge the Tylarian Empire's might. Human counterattack. With the Tylarian fleet now preparing for a larger assault, the tension in space grew thick. The alien forces had underestimated the power of Earth's old warships and were gearing up for a serious battle. Little did they know, the human warships were not just ready, they were preparing to strike back with everything they had. The human warships had been monitoring the alien fleet's movements closely. The old ships, now fully operational, were manned by automated systems that followed the activation protocols. These systems had been designed to protect Earth, and they were ready to face the incoming threat. In the command center of one of the human warships, the onboard AI systems coordinated the fleet's response. The warships were equipped with advanced weaponry and defensive systems that had been lying dormant. Now they were coming online, their systems sensing to launch a coordinated counterattack. As the Tylarian fleet advanced, their scouts continued to relay information about the human warship's movements. The aliens, confident in their numerical advantage, were prepared for a large-scale battle. They did not anticipate that the old ships would be capable of launching a decisive counteroffensive. The moment arrived when the Tylarian fleet initiated their assault. They sent waves of ships towards the human warships, their weapons primed and ready. The aliens fired the first shots, expecting to overwhelm the old warships with their superior firepower. But the human warships were prepared. As the alien weapons fired, the human warships activated their shields. The old defensive systems, though not the latest technology, held up remarkably well against the alien onslaught. The shields absorbed the blasts, and the warship's weapon systems began their counterfire. The human warships launched their own attacks, their weapon systems unleashing a barrage of powerful blasts. The old ships were equipped with energy cannons and missile systems that had been maintained in excellent condition. The Xylarian fleet, expecting an easy victory, was now faced with a fierce and unexpected resistance. The first wave of alien ships that engaged the human warships quickly found themselves in trouble. The precision of the human counterattacks was impressive. The old warships' targeting systems, though dated, were accurate, and their weapons struck true. The Xylarian fleet, caught off guard by the intensity of the human response, began to suffer losses. Ships were hit, and explosions erupted as the human warships proved their worth. The aliens, who had initially laughed at the old technology, were now grappling with the reality of a serious threat. Commander Zorak watched the battle unfold with growing concern. His initial confidence was being tested as the human warships demonstrated their formidable capabilities. He ordered his fleet to regroup and adjust their tactics, hoping to regain the upper hand. The Xylarian commanders directed their forces to focus on overwhelming the human warships with concentrated firepower. They sent in additional ships and increased their assault, trying to break through the old warships' defenses. The battle became more intense as both sides fought fiercely. Despite the increased pressure, the human warships held their ground. The old ships, once considered obsolete, showed their strength in combat. Their defensive systems absorbed the alien fire, and their weapons continued to strike back with precision. The battle raged on, with the human warships making significant gains. Their counterattacks were coordinated and effective, turning the tide of the battle in their favor. The Xylarian fleet, once so confident, was now facing a determined and skilled opponent. As the human warships pressed their advantage, the Xylarian fleet began to show signs of strain. The aliens were forced to retreat and reconsider their strategy. The initial shock of the human counterattack had transformed the conflict from a minor skirmish into a full-scale battle. The human counterattack had proven to be a turning point. The old warships, far from being relics, had shown that they were capable of defending Earth against a formidable foe. The Xylarian fleet, now reeling from the unexpected resistance, was forced to regroup and rethink their approach. With the battle still ongoing, the fate of the conflict hung in the balance. The human warships, having proven their strength, were ready to continue the fight. The Xylarian fleet, now aware of the true challenge they faced, prepared for a renewed confrontation with Earth's unexpected defenders, turning the tide. The battle above Earth had reached a critical point. The Xylarian fleet, once confident of an easy victory, was now facing an unexpected challenge. The old human warships had turned the tide, showing that they were a serious threat. The Xylarian commanders, troubled by the turn of events, knew they had to act quickly to regain control. The Xylarian fleet had suffered significant losses. Several of their ships had been destroyed or damaged in the fierce counterattack launched by the human warships. Commander Zorak, who had underestimated the old ships, was now forced to confront the reality of their power. He called for an urgent meeting with his top officers to devise a new strategy. In the command center of the Xylarian flagship, the room was tense. The officers reviewed the battle data, trying to identify the best way to counter the human warships. The aliens needed to adapt their tactics quickly to turn the battle in their favor. Zorak decided to focus on a concentrated attack aimed at overwhelming the human defenses. The Xylarian fleet reformed their strategy. They sent in their most powerful ships and concentrated their firepower on the most heavily engaged areas of the human formation. The goal was to break through the old warship's defenses by sheer force. The Xylarian commanders hoped that by applying maximum pressure, they could force a breakthrough. Meanwhile, the human warships, although holding their ground, were not without their challenges. The increased intensity of the Xylarian assault began to test their defenses. The old ships were taking hits, and their shields were starting to show signs of strain. The onboard AI systems worked tirelessly to manage the damage and maintain their counteroffensive. In the midst of the battle, the human warships made a crucial decision. They initiated a series of tactical maneuvers designed to shift the momentum in their favor. The old warships used their advanced but outdated technology to create a tactical advantage. They executed flanking maneuvers, targeting the weaker spots in the Tylarian fleet's formation. The Tylarian commanders, already stretched thin by the ongoing conflict, struggled to adapt to the human warships' new tactics. The concentrated pressure from the Tylarian fleet had caused some damage, but the human ships were proving to be more resilient than anticipated. The old warship's ability to adapt and respond was beginning to show its strength. As the battle continued, the human warships launched a series of precise strikes against key targets in the Tylarian fleet. They identified and targeted the command ships and support vessels, aiming to disrupt the coordination and effectiveness of the alien forces. The Tylarian fleet's operational capacity began to falter under the relentless assault. Commander Zorak, observing the shift in the battle, ordered a strategic withdrawal of some of his forces. The Tylarian fleet was being pushed back, and Zorak recognized the need to regroup and reassess. The retreat was intended to avoid further losses and allow the fleet to reorganize for a renewed push. The human warships, seeing the Tylarian retreat, pressed their advantage. They continued their offensive, targeting the retreating alien ships and causing further damage. The old warships, once considered relics, were now proving their worth by turning the tide of the battle. The Tylarian fleet's confidence was shaken, and the initial shock of the human counterattack had transformed into a significant strategic challenge. With the Tylarian fleet retreating, the human warships had achieved a crucial victory. The old technology, which had been underestimated, had played a key role in turning the battle. The human warships' ability to adapt and counter the alien tactics demonstrated their strength and resilience. As the battle subsided, the Tylarian fleet began to regroup and withdraw from Earth's orbit. The aliens had been forced to acknowledge the effectiveness of the old warships and the unexpected challenge posed by the humans. The turning of the tide marked a significant shift in the conflict, with Earth's defenders showing that even outdated technology could be a formidable force. The human warships, victorious but not without cost, continued their preparations for any future threats. The battle had proven that Earth's old fleet was far from obsolete. The unexpected victory had demonstrated the enduring strength of humanity's technological legacy, and the Tylarian fleet was left to ponder their next move in the ongoing conflict. Victory and respect. The space above Earth was now quiet, save for the lingering echoes of the battle that had raged for days. The Tylarian fleet, battered and beaten, had retreated from the battlefield, leaving the old human warships as the victors. The once derided relics of humanity had proven their worth in a spectacular display of resilience and strength. As the last of the alien ships disappeared into the depths of space, the human warships began to assess the damage. The old vessels, though scared from battle, had held their ground and defended Earth with remarkable tenacity. The onboard systems, which had been dormant for so long, were now processing the aftermath of the conflict. The human crews, though largely automated, were programmed to celebrate their victories and honor their legacy. The warship's systems initiated a sequence of celebratory protocols, marking the end of a successful defense. Lights flashed in patterns that simulated a sense of victory, and the onboard AI systems broadcasted messages of triumph. Commander Zorak, the leader of the Tylarian fleet, sat in his command chair aboard the flagship. His face was etched with a mix of frustration and respect. The battle had not gone as planned, and the old human warships had proven to be a formidable opponent. The Tylarian commander acknowledged that the old ships had earned their respect through their performance. Back on Earth, the mood was one of relief and triumph. The threat from the Tylarian fleet had been neutralized, and the old human warships had defended their home planet against a powerful foe. The victory was celebrated as a testament to humanity's enduring strength and ingenuity. In the aftermath of the battle, representatives from various Earth governments gathered to reflect on the significance of the conflict. The old warships, once thought to be outdated relics, had played a crucial role in defending Earth. The battle had demonstrated that even technology from a bygone era could be a powerful force when used effectively. The human warships, having proven their capabilities, were now seen in a new light. The old technology that had once been mocked was now honored for its role in protecting humanity. The battle had also sparked a renewed interest in studying and preserving old technologies, recognizing their potential value in future conflicts. As the human warships prepared for any potential follow-up threats, their systems remained vigilant. The old vessels were now equipped with updated protocols and systems designed to ensure their continued readiness. The conflict had not only tested their capabilities, but had also reinforced their importance in Earth's defense. The Xylarian fleet, having faced a surprising defeat, began to reassess their strategies and approach. The unexpected resistance from the human warships had forced them to confront the reality of their opponent's strength. The aliens now understood that Earth's old warships were not to be underestimated. In a gesture of respect, the Xylarian commanders sent a message of acknowledgement to Earth. They recognized the skill and determination of the human defenders and expressed a willingness to engage in diplomacy rather than further conflict. The message was received with a mixture of surprise and cautious optimism on Earth. The victory had also served as a reminder of the importance of preparedness and respect for one's adversaries. The old human warships had shown that even in the face of overwhelming odds, strength and resilience could prevail. The battle had been a hard-fought contest, and the respect earned through the conflict was a significant achievement. As Earth celebrated its victory and looked to the future, the old warships were honored as symbols of enduring strength and legacy. The battle had proven that even the most seemingly outdated technology could hold its own against modern threats. The respect gained from the conflict would be a lasting testament to humanity's ability to defend itself and overcome challenges. The story of the old warships and their victory against the Xylarian fleet would be remembered as a significant chapter in Earth's history. The conflict had demonstrated the power of resilience and the value of respecting one's adversaries, leaving a legacy of triumph and respect for generations to come.